Have you ever woken from a dream so real that for a fleeting moment, your own bed felt like the illusion? That feeling is not a mistake of your brain. It is an echo of your true nature. The truth is, you do not live inside of your body. You operate through it, like a pilot in a sophisticated vehicle. In this journey together, we will explore astral projection, the conscious experience of leaving the body as the final, irrefutable proof that your vibration does not merely influence reality, it constructs it from the ground up. Stay with us, and you will learn how to activate the very vehicle that makes this cosmic exploration possible. You are here for a reason. You understand the principles. You have read the books. You have practiced the affirmations, and you have felt the subtle shifts that come with a dedicated spiritual practice. You know, intellectually, that you are more than your body, that your thoughts have power, that your feelings are a vibrational language spoken to the universe. And yet you feel it, don't you? A sense of having reached a plateau, a transparent, yet unbreakable wall that stands between what you know in your mind and what you experience in the very core of your being. The great, earth-shaking, transcendental transformation you seek still feels like a distant shore, a promise not yet fulfilled. This frustration is real and it is valid. It is the sacred discontent of a soul that is ready for the next stage of its journey. The nature of this barrier can be understood with a simple analogy. Imagine you have spent years studying the architectural blueprints of a magnificent ancient cathedral. You know every arch, every pillar, every stained glass window's design. You can describe its flawless geometry and the genius of its construction. This is knowledge, and it is valuable. But it is not the same as stepping through the heavy wooden doors. It is not the same as feeling the cool, silent air on your skin. It is not the same as standing in the vast open space, watching dust motes dance in the shafts of colored light, and feeling the low, resonant hum of the grand organ vibrate not just in your ears, but in your very bones. One is information, the other is gnosis, a direct, unshakable experiential knowing that bypasses the intellect and imprints itself upon the soul. The plateau you've reached is the edge of the blueprint. You have mastered the map, but the spiritual path is not meant to be only studied, it is meant to be walked. The tools of the mind logic, analysis, and belief have brought you this far, but they cannot carry you across the threshold into the cathedral itself. To do that, we must awaken a different kind of faculty. To shatter this wall of glass, to turn the blueprint into a living reality, we must shift our focus. We must stop looking outward for more information and begin looking inward for a dormant potential. The key to the portal you seek is not a new concept to learn, but a biological birthright waiting to be reclaimed. It is time to explore the anatomy of your own transcendence. Let us begin this next step of our journey not in a mystical text or a distant star system, but within the very architecture of your own body. Tucked away in the precise geometric center of your skull, protected by the delicate folds of your brain, lies a tiny, pine cone-shaped jewel. It is an organ no larger than a grain of rice, known to science as the pineal gland. For centuries, modern medicine regarded this gland as little more than a vestige of our evolutionary past, a simple producer of melatonin, the hormone that governs our cycles of sleep and waking. But ancient wisdom traditions have always known it by another name. They called it the third eye, the eye of the soul, the gateway to higher consciousness. This is not mere poetry. Consider the ancient Egyptians, masters of anatomy and sacred science. Their most revered symbol for spiritual sight, protection, and esoteric knowledge was the Eye of Horus. When you place this mystical symbol over a cross-section of the human brain, the resemblance is stunning and, frankly, impossible to dismiss as coincidence. Each part of the symbol maps perfectly onto the key structures of the midbrain, the thalamus, the corpus callosum, and at its heart, the pineal gland itself. They were leaving us a map, a diagram pointing to the epicenter of our own divine potential. Centuries later, the philosopher René Descartes, a man who rigorously sought the intersection of the physical and the metaphysical, concluded that this tiny gland was the principal seat of the soul, the single point in the body where our immaterial consciousness interfaces with our material form. So the question arises, doesn't it? Why would so many of the world's most sophisticated cultures, separated by vast oceans and thousands of years, all point to this same tiny spot in the center of the head as the doorway to the divine? Modern science, though often late to the discoveries of the mystics, is beginning to provide some fascinating clues. Researchers have discovered that the pineal gland contains calcite microcrystals. This is significant because these crystals have what are known as piezoelectric properties. This means that when placed under mechanical stress, they can generate an electrical voltage and vibrate. It is the same principle that makes a quartz crystal work in a watch or a microphone turn the pressure of sound waves into an electrical signal. Leading-edge researchers, like Dr. Rick Strassman in his groundbreaking work on DMT, have hypothesized that these crystals could make the pineal gland a powerful biological transducer, an antenna, an instrument capable of receiving and perhaps even transmitting frequencies that exist far beyond the very narrow spectrum of our 5 conventional senses. It is a biological mechanism for transmuting the unseen into the felt, the vibrational into the experiential. The ancients knew where the gate was. Modern science is just beginning to understand how the lock might work. This is not a metaphor. It suggests that you possess, within your own biology, a highly advanced piece of spiritual technology. And this brings us to the most vital question of all. If your body has an antenna, what is the signal it was designed to pick up? If the pineal gland is indeed our biological antenna, then the brain itself must be viewed as a sacred alchemical chamber. It is here that the raw materials of our ordinary consciousness can be transmuted into the golden elixir of mystical experience. This is not a process of adding something new, but of unlocking what is already present, using the keys that the ancient sages left for us. We know the basic chemistry. When darkness falls, our brain takes the neurotransmitter serotonin, which is associated with our waking mood and sense of well-being, and through a natural process, converts it into melatonin, inviting the body into rest and dreams. This is the daily, known alchemy of the mind. But what if, under very specific conditions, the process goes one step further? What if the brain is capable of a final, sacred transmutation? This is the frontier where modern science and ancient mysticism are beginning to hold a remarkable conversation. The hypothesis centers on a compound our bodies already produce in trace amounts, dimethyltryptamine, or DMT. Because of its profound and consistent ability to induce powerful, visionary, and often life-altering spiritual experiences, it has earned a modern name: the spirit molecule. This is not a foreign substance. It is a part of our natural human makeup. Leading researchers theorize that in certain profound states, deep meditation, the vivid immersion of REM sleep, or the transcendent moments of a near-death experience, our brain may release this endogenous compound in larger amounts. When this happens, the effect is not a hallucination. It is more like the removal of a filter. The rigid, pre-programmed reality our 5 senses construct for survival is temporarily dissolved, and we are open to the raw, unfiltered data stream of consciousness itself. It is the key that turns the lock of ordinary perception, allowing the door to swing open onto the vast, multidimensional landscapes of inner space. Here lies a moment of profound validation. The ancient rishis of Vedic India spoke of a divine substance called soma. It was described as a sacred drink, a nectar of the gods that bestowed immortality, wisdom, and ecstatic visions of the cosmos. For centuries, scholars searched for a physical plant that could be the source of this mythical drink. But many mystics understood the deeper truth. The real soma was not a plant to be found in the forest, but a nectar to be cultivated within the alchemical chamber of the self. It was the internal secretion produced through intense spiritual discipline, through meditation, chanting, and turning the senses away from the outer world and focusing them entirely inward. They were not describing a botanical recipe, but a spiritual one, a method for instructing the body to produce its own elixir of enlightenment. Seen through this lens, the practices of the sages are revealed not as mere philosophical disciplines, but as a form of applied sacred neurochemistry. They understood that to activate the eye of the soul, you must first create the right internal environment. You must provide the darkness, the silence, and the focused intention that allows the brain to perform its highest alchemy, to produce the spirit molecule that finally tunes the pineal antenna to the frequency of the cosmos. The antenna is now primed. The sacred fuel has been created. The signal from a higher reality is now within reach. But to receive a signal is one thing. To travel to its source is another. For that, we need a vehicle. We have explored the antenna of the pineal gland and the inner alchemy that fuels it. Now we arrive at the vehicle itself. Because you are not simply a biological machine with a spiritual component. You are a field of living energy, a complex and radiant geometry of light, sound, and consciousness. The physical body is merely the densest, most visible point of this magnificent structure. Ancient traditions knew that to travel the inner cosmos, one needed a vessel fit for the journey. This vessel is not built of flesh and bone, but of pure energy, structured by the fundamental patterns of creation itself. The most sacred and powerful of these forms is known as the Merkaba. The name itself is a key, a code handed down to us from the mystery schools of ancient Egypt. It is composed of three distinct sounds, Mer, Ka, and Ba. Mer referred to a specific kind of light, understood as two counter-rotating fields of energy. Ka was the individual spirit, the unique spark of consciousness. And Ba was the physical body or reality as it is perceived. The Merkaba, therefore, is the light spirit body. It is the energetic chariot that allows the spirit to travel, fully conscious, through different planes of reality. Is it not a profound thought? That the most ancient civilizations on Earth did not see the spirit as something trapped within the body, but as something that possessed its own vehicle of light, capable of immense freedom and mobility. This concept of a spiritual chariot is not unique to Egypt. We hear its echo in the writings of the Greek philosopher Plato, who described the soul as a charioteer driving two-winged horses, one noble and one wild, representing our higher and lower natures. In the mystical traditions of Judaism, the prophet Ezekiel has a powerful vision of a divine chariot, a throne of God moving upon wheels within wheels, attended by living creatures. These were not descriptions of physical machines. They were attempts to articulate the ineffable, to describe the living geometric structure of divine energy that serves as the vehicle for consciousness itself. The geometry of the Merkaba is one of profound beauty and universal significance. It is the shape of a star tetrahedron, which is two identical interlocking tetrahedron sacred pyramids with four triangular faces, one pointing up to the heavens and one pointing down to the earth. The upward-pointing tetrahedron represents the masculine principle. It is the energy of the sun, of electricity, of the sky. It connects us to the cosmic Father, to the realm of pure potential. The downward-pointing tetrahedron represents the feminine principle. It is the energy of the earth, of magnetism, of the body. It connects us to the cosmic mother, to the realm of manifestation and form. These two pyramids are not separate. In the fully realized being, they are interlocked in perfect balance, spinning in opposite directions. This counter-rotation of the masculine and feminine energies within us creates a stable, resonant field of immense power. It is a point of perfect equilibrium. It is a gateway, a stargate, a zero-point field, through which consciousness can transition from one dimension to another. This is the sacred architecture of your soul. This vehicle of light is not something you need to create from scratch. It is your divine inheritance, a part of your energetic anatomy that is currently dormant, or perhaps spinning out of balance in most of humanity. It is waiting for you to remember it, to reclaim it. And this leads us to a crucial understanding. This light body is not activated by force, but by harmony. The breath, the focused intention, and the resonance of sacred sound are the three keys that turn the engine of this celestial chariot. With the antenna of the soul primed and the light body vehicle waiting, where do we journey? Where can we safely test the principles of creation and experience the raw power of our own consciousness? The universe, in its infinite wisdom, has provided us with two perfectly designed training grounds, two laboratories for the soul, the lucid dream and the astral plane. Though often confused, these are two distinct yet related experiences, each offering a unique and vital lesson on the path to self-mastery. First, consider the lucid dream. This is the experience of suddenly becoming aware that you are dreaming, while the dream is still in progress. It is the moment you wake up within the landscape of your own mind. This laboratory is designed for one purpose: to master the self. Within a lucid dream, you are the sole author, director, and actor in the play of your own psyche. Everything you see, every character you meet, every landscape that unfolds before you is a projection of your own consciousness. Here, you have the ultimate safe space to confront your deepest fears, because you know they are your own creations. You can walk through walls to learn that limitations are self-imposed. You can fly to remember your own freedom. When you face a shadow figure and, instead of running, you ask it what it has to teach you, you are engaging in the highest form of spiritual alchemy, transmuting fear into wisdom. The lucid dream is the first and most powerful proof that your internal state is the author of your experience. The ancient Tibetan masters understood this profoundly. Their practice of dream yoga was not a form of entertainment. It was a rigorous spiritual discipline used to understand the illusory nature of reality itself, to practice liberation from the cycles of fear and attachment, and even to prepare the soul for the journey after death. They knew that if you can master your consciousness in the dream state, you can master it in the waking state. Then there is the second laboratory, astral projection. This is a different and, in some ways, more profound experience. Here, you are not waking up inside a dream you are creating. You are consciously shifting your point of awareness out of your physical body and into a different but equally real dimension of existence, the astral plane. This laboratory is designed to explore the cosmos. While the lucid dream proves you are the creator of your inner world, astral projection proves that your consciousness is not limited to your physical brain. It is non-local. It can exist and perceive reality entirely independent of the body. Here, you are no longer just the author, you are the explorer. You can navigate environments that exist objectively, interact with other non-physical consciousnesses, and experience firsthand that reality is a vast, multi-layered, and vibrantly alive tapestry. It is the experience that forever shatters the illusion that you are your body. And here in both of these twin laboratories, we find the ultimate, undeniable proof of our central theme. In the physical world, there is a delay, a buffer. Between a thought and its manifestation, time and density create a space for us to reconsider, to doubt, to forget. But in these higher frequency realms, that buffer is gone. The feedback loop between your vibration and your reality is instantaneous. Think a thought of fear and the dreamscape darkens. The astral environment becomes menacing. Feel a surge of anger, and the world around you may twist into hostile forms. But radiate a feeling of pure, unconditional love, and the very fabric of that reality bends to your will. You can fly, you can heal wounds with a touch, you can manifest objects of sublime beauty out of thin air simply by holding the feeling of their existence. This is the law of vibration, stripped of all buffers and delays. It is the universe showing you, in the most direct way possible, as you vibrate, so you shall create. Your feeling is the creative act. And this begs the most important question of all. If your vibration can create and uncreate worlds in an instant in these realms, what do you suppose it is slowly, patiently, and persistently creating in the world around you, right here, right now? The return is perhaps even more jarring than the departure. One moment you are pure awareness, a being of light navigating a reality that responds instantly to your every feeling. The next, you feel the gentle but immense pull, the cosmic tether drawing you back. There is a rush, a sense of contracting, and then the familiar heavy gravity of your physical body. You feel the texture of the sheets, hear the slow rhythm of your own breathing, and sense the solid, unyielding reality of the room around you. And for one sacred, silent moment, a profound question hangs in the air of your mind. Which one was the dream? The world of infinite freedom and instantaneous creation you just left, or this world of dense matter and the slow, deliberate march of time? Here, in this very question, lies the great awakening, because the most profound lesson of leaving the body is not what you discover out there, but what you realize when you come back in here. The ultimate truth revealed by astral projection is not that you have a soul. It is that you are a soul, and you are temporarily inhabiting a body. This experience shatters the foundational illusion of materialism forever. You know with a certainty that no book or guru could ever give you, that you are not your physical form. With this new foundation, your perception of reality begins to collapse and reassemble itself in a much more truthful configuration. You begin to understand that the physical world is not the bedrock of existence. It is, in fact, a destination. It is the astral plane itself, but vibrating at a much slower, denser, and more persistent frequency. It is a reality congealed, a dream crystallized into a seemingly solid state through the focused, collective, and habitual consciousness of all who inhabit it. This is why there is a delay. The time lag you experience between an intention and its physical manifestation, which can be a source of so much spiritual frustration, is not a flaw in the system. It is its most compassionate and crucial feature. Imagine if this dense physical reality responded as instantly as the astral plane. Every fleeting thought of fear, every momentary spike of anger, every passing doubt would manifest instantly and chaotically around you. The world would be an unlivable nightmare. This delay is a divine buffer. It is a training ground, a cosmic classroom that grants you the sacred space to learn, to choose, to stabilize your frequency before it becomes form. It is the universe's gift of grace, allowing you to master your creative power responsibly. And this realization precipitates the single most important shift in perspective on the entire spiritual path. You stop seeing yourself as a small, powerless being inside of a vast, indifferent universe, trying to attract things to you. You awaken to the truth that you are a center of creation from which a universe is being projected. You are not the character on the screen, hoping the story will turn out well. You are the light in the projector. The reality you experience is the film and your sustained vibration. The coherent pattern of your thoughts, feelings, beliefs, and emotions is the light that projects that film onto the screen of space-time. You are not asking the universe for anything. You are broadcasting a frequency, and the universe is simply organizing itself around that broadcast, reflecting it back to you as your physical experience. This is the essence of what the ancient sages meant by self-knowledge. You are not in a reality. Reality is being generated from you. This is true sovereignty. This is the beginning of conscious creation. Once the foundation of your reality shifts from solid matter to fluid vibration, you begin to notice something extraordinary. The very faculties through which you perceive the world begin to expand. Abilities that once seemed like the stuff of myth and legend, reserved for ancient sages and secluded mystics, start to gently emerge from the background of your own consciousness. These are not superpowers in the way our modern culture imagines them. To think of them as such is to misunderstand their nature entirely. They are not external abilities to be acquired, but internal senses to be remembered. The Sanskrit tradition calls them Siddhis, which simply means perfections or attainments. They are the natural, inevitable consequence of operating from a higher state of consciousness. Think of it this way. As you raise your baseline vibration, the dense veil that separates the physical world from the astral plane begins to thin. As it thins, the senses of your more subtle, energetic body, your astral body, naturally begin to function while you are still awake and in your physical form. They start to leak through. That sudden, unexplainable gut feeling you have, that deep intuition that tells you to turn left instead of right, saving you from a traffic jam or worse. That is not just a random hunch. That is your astral sense of perception, which is not bound by linear time, perceiving the energetic probabilities of the immediate future and sending a signal back to your physical mind. That flash of insight you receive in the shower, the solution to a problem you've been wrestling with for weeks that arrives fully formed in an instant. That is claircognizance, or clear knowing. It is a direct data download from a higher level of your own mind, bypassing the slow, clunky process of logical deduction. Perhaps you begin to see subtle shimmers of light around people, or colors in the air. This is the beginning of clairvoyance, or clear seeing. It is your third eye, your pineal gland, beginning to perceive the auric fields and the vibrational reality that underpins our physical world. These are not powers to be chased or coveted. Chasing them is an act of ego that lowers your vibration and pushes them further away. They are simply flowers that begin to bloom in the garden of a well-tended consciousness. They are signs that your frequency is rising, that your connection to the deeper reality is becoming more stable. And this leads us to the source of these emerging faculties. What is the intelligence that guides this newfound intuition? What is the higher mind from which these data packets of insight are downloaded? It is not some distant, separate entity. It is you. It is the part of you that remains untangled from the limitations of the physical body. It is your higher self. This connection to the higher self is perhaps the most profound tool of the conscious creator. It ceases to be an abstract concept and becomes a living, breathing relationship. Imagine your higher self is the CEO of your soul's journey. It sits in an office with a view of the entire timeline, past, present, and future. It has access to all the data, all the probabilities, all the soul contracts and lessons you came here to learn. Your physical self, the one listening to this right now, is the trusted and beloved field agent. The goal is to have a crystal clear, open line of communication with the head office. Meditation is picking up the phone. Intuition is listening to the guidance being given. Synchronicities are the memos and signposts the CEO places along your path to confirm you're on the right track. And astral projection? That is walking directly into the CEO's office, sitting down, and looking at the cosmic map together. A high, stable, and coherent vibration is what keeps this communication line free of static. It is the prerequisite for the Siddhis to emerge in a balanced and healthy way, and for the guidance of your higher self to be received not as a whisper, but as a clear and loving voice. You are not trying to become something you are not. You are simply remembering how to access the fullness of what you already eternally are. The knowledge we have explored is not meant to remain as mere information in your mind. It is a living key, designed to unlock a door within your own being. The greatest honor you can pay to this wisdom is to put it into practice, to transform theory into tangible personal experience. Therefore, we will now move from the realm of knowing to the realm of doing. I will offer you a simple yet profoundly powerful two-level ritual of activation. It is a way to begin this journey tonight, and a deeper practice to carry you forward. First, let us begin with an immediate first step. This is something you can do tonight before you drift into sleep. Think of it as planting a seed in the fertile soil of your subconscious mind. Sleep is not a state of unconsciousness. It is a state of deep connection to the inner realms. By setting a clear intention beforehand, you provide your soul with a mission, a compass for its nightly travels. So tonight, as you lie in bed, just before you release the day, place your hands gently over your heart. Close your eyes. Take one deep cleansing breath. And in the quiet space of your own mind, or spoken softly into the stillness of your room, repeat this simple intention. Tonight, I ask for clarity. I ask to remember my dreams. I ask to connect with my own greater consciousness. I am a safe and protected explorer, and my loving intention is my guide. Feel the truth of these words. Release all expectation. Release all pressure to make something happen. You are simply opening a door, giving permission for a deeper communication to begin. Trust that the intention has been received. Then, let go and allow yourself to drift into sleep. Now, for the deeper practice. This is the conscious and deliberate activation of your light body. Find a time and space where you will not be disturbed. Sit comfortably, with your spine straight, and allow your body to relax. This is not a test of spiritual strength, but an act of loving self-remembrance. When you are ready, close your eyes and let us begin. Start by bringing your awareness to your breath. Do not try to change it. Simply observe the gentle rise and fall of your chest, the cool air entering your nostrils, the warm air leaving. With each breath, feel your body sinking deeper into relaxation, deeper into the present moment. You are here. Now. Now bring your awareness to the geometric center of your head, behind your eyes, between your temples. Do not strain. Simply rest your attention in this space. Imagine a tiny, warm spark of light beginning to glow in this sacred center. This is your pineal gland, your inner eye, awakening. With each breath you take, imagine that you are breathing a soft, silvery light directly into this spark, causing it to grow gently brighter, warmer, and more vibrant. Feel a subtle, pleasant pulse or vibration in this space. It is the hum of your inner antenna coming online. Next, we will build the vehicle. Become aware of the space around your body. Visualize a brilliant tetrahedron, a sacred pyramid of light, its point far above your head and its flat base at the level of your hips. This is your sun tetrahedron, the masculine principle, connecting you to the divine source. Feel its radiant electric energy. Simultaneously, visualize another identical pyramid of light, with its point far below your feet and its flat base also at your hips. This is your earth tetrahedron, the feminine principle, grounding you in the loving embrace of the planet. Feel its calm, magnetic energy. You are now sitting at the precise intersection of heaven and earth, held within the perfect geometry of your own star tetrahedron. Now, we give it life. With your focused intention, give the silent command for the sun tetrahedron, the one pointing up, to begin spinning clockwise. At the same time, command the earth tetrahedron, the one pointing down, to begin spinning counterclockwise. You do not need to force this. Simply hold the intention and allow the fields to respond. You may feel a subtle shift in the energy around you, a sense of lightness, a feeling of expansion. You are activating your Merkaba. You are igniting the engine of your light body. Remain in this state for as long as feels comfortable. You are sitting within your own personal field of creation, a space of perfect balance and immense potential. This is the state of readiness. This is the vibrational frequency from which all true exploration begins. When you are finished, simply bring your awareness back to your breath, back to your body, and slowly, gently open your eyes. You have taken your first conscious step into the larger reality. We have journeyed far in this time together, from the inner sanctum of the pineal gland to the vast open landscapes of the astral plane. The conclusion of this journey is both profoundly simple and utterly world-altering. Your body is not a cage that imprisons your spirit. It is a highly advanced biological space station, perfectly designed for you to experience this particular dimension. And your consciousness, the very essence of who you are, is not a ghost in the machine, not some fleeting electrical byproduct of your brain. It is the animator of the universe. It is the dreamer, and this world is its waking dream. And so we are left not with a final answer, but with a new and far more beautiful question. The great spiritual inquiry is not to ask what happens after we die. It is to ask what happens before it. The true journey is not about preparing to leave this world behind, but about fully remembering where you came from and who you truly are, while you are still blessed to be here. It is about learning to live with one foot in the world of form and one foot in the world of the infinite, and recognizing that they are simply two shores of the same single ocean of reality. You are the traveler, the explorer of consciousness, and you are not alone on this path. To continue this exploration as a community, we invite you to share a piece of your own map. In the comments below, share just a single word that describes the clearest sign or message you have ever received in a lucid dream, a powerful synchronicity, or any other extraordinary experience. Was it release, courage, home? Let us map the secret language of the universe together.